All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Chronicles of a Virgo Podcast. And as usual, I'm your favorite Virgo host, Shakita Johnson. And today we have another lovely guest joining us. This guest, I like to call him the Keith Lee of podcasting. Like I have literally gave him the title of Keith Lee. And the more that I see his interaction and engagement on social media, he continues to be the Keith Lee of podcasting. But today, y'all, we are joined by Mr. Visit Vegas Places himself, Mr. Coyal. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good, Chiquita. Thank you for having me on to your platform, and that's an honor to be compared to Keith Lee or called the Keith Lee of podcasting. Because shouts out to Keith Lee, he is doing a good thing, which is God's word. So that is an honor. I appreciate you, giving me a shout out like that.
Yeah, of course. You are you. You in your own lane doing your own good work, but you just remind me of him because you guys kind of do the same thing,
Right,
and it comes from a good space. And we're gonna get into
right.
all that today.
Appreciate
So
that.
before we get into our conversation, we have to start off with our lovely mental health check. Um, if you are just joining me for the first time, our mental health check, we rate our mental health on a scale of 1 to 5. 5 being that you are feeling like your mental health is in a good space today. 1 being you're not in the best space. There is some room for pouring, but you are managing. So, Mr. Coyle, what would you rate your mental health today on a scale of 1 to 5?
Oh, by the Lord's will, it's a five, definitely five.
Okay, okay. We fiving it out today. And mine, I'm gonna say today, mine is a 5. I'm feeling mentally, I'm good. I'm just a little tired, but end of the week, you know how that go. But I'm glad that you are fiving it out today. And again, the mental health checks allow me to hold myself and you accountable to check in with yourself. Make sure you are okay. And if you are not, find where you may need some room for improvement. Ask for help, or just, try to really sit down and get regrounded and balance out whatever your thoughts and you may be feeling in your body. Okay. So, sir, thank you so much for participating in our mental health check. All right. So we're going to get into some things today, as we always do. And we're going to enjoy this conversation because Coyle is a podcaster. He is a businessman. He's a father. He's a husband. He wears a lot of different hats, right? I know Coyle in the whole podcasting and social media content creation world. And I idolize the work that he does on social media, as well as some other peers of mine. We've had conversations and like, hey, let's like Coyle be knowing what he be talking about. He puts out a lot of good information. So for that, I want to give you your flowers and say I appreciate you and all the support that you do offer me and everyone else in the social media, whether it's doing your TikTok shop, it's, doing the stuff with your podcast or just putting out your daily, affirmations and positive messages. So thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that. I appreciate that.
Yes, most definitely. So please tell everyone that's listening who is Mr. Coyle and what is this Visit Vegas Places?
Well, thank you. First of all, thank you. Well, yes. Well, my name is Coyal Harrison. I am the host and owner of Visit Vegas Places with Coyal podcast, streaming on all podcast platforms. Well, the motto is real Vegas, real topics, real business, real owners. So the story behind Visit Vegas Places is we started as Google reviews. So we started just going to establishments, my family and I, eating at these local restaurants and just taking regular pictures of the food and everything. Not too much videos. I don't even think content. This is like before the pandemic, actually, also. So everything was kosher as far as going in. We would just take pictures, and I would actually post it to Google Maps. Like even to this day, you can Google Map us. We have like over 32 million views because that was like our start. Was Google Maps was the start, and a lot of people don't know that. But as we were going to these establishments with my family, the owners will come up. It's funny because we will go to establishments, and then I remember, some of the waitresses will come out, and then they'll wait. Then they'll all just like make phone calls, and next thing you know, the owner will show up. And this is after a while, as got like 6 to 9 months in, and then the locals, everybody was aware of what we were doing, so they would show up, and then we'll actually have good conversations. So it was cool. So I got to actually talk. Like I'm sitting there with like majority of the owners talking with my family. They're taking pictures and everything, reviewing their foods. But hearing these stories, I was thinking like, dude, this is great. This is before I was even creating content with the footage and everything. And remember, keep in mind, I'm just getting pictures. So I'm like, I'm hearing these stories, these local stories, and they're going through these struggles and they're putting their sweat and heart. And not only that, the family all has a hand in this small business, and they're telling me a story of their trials and tribulations, and I'm the only one hearing it. I go home and post pictures of their establishments. That's it. So I'm like, there's got to be a way that I can share, this backbone of it to give a full story circle, not only just post pictures of, yeah, he might have nice dishes here or, provide this kind of service to you, but let's listen to his background, his story of why he does what he does, or the struggles and the hustles that he had to get to where he's at, and or how many times he's done what he's doing before it's actually, he's seen daylight from it. So I'm like, I gotta be able to share this story also. So that there came the podcast, came up with the podcast. It's funny, I was telling somebody this story the other day. On March, which is next month, March will mark my third year as being a business. Third year as a business. In March, I started, and then my first episode didn't drop to August.
Oh, wow.
So for March and August, I actually doubted myself and was scared to do what I'm doing right now.
That's
Yes.
crazy because I know you and I see what you're doing. So it's funny that you mentioned that the fact that we see what people put out, their content, their podcast, and all that stuff, but we don't always know what was the starting ground. Like, what
Right.
was the mindset that the person had? What was the motivation behind it? And you built your brand off of getting to know these business owners, bringing them on your platform. Hey, I
Right.
want to know about your business, but I want to hear from start to like where you're at now. So I think that's really, sincere of you because sometimes people don't care about what it took. They just want the item that you're
Oh, yeah,
producing. They're like,
yeah,
I don't care
yeah.
about none of that. Let me just get this and that's it. So it's kind of like you dealt with that, the
Right.
whole being
Yeah.
insecure and stuff like that. So what pushed you to go ahead and publish that first episode?
Well, keep in mind, it wasn't all gravy. I was laid off because I started this right in the beginning of the pandemic. So I was laid off. I was 6 months being laid off, waiting for an unemployment check. Actually on the verge of getting evicted, which at the end I did get evicted, but during the time I was, didn't know what was going to happen. So I got my unemployment. And this is all in March. And I'm thinking like, dude, what should I do? And I actually got like my LLC. I got everything. Like I really had put faith in it. So while looking for another job and everything. So I found another job while starting this podcast, working full time, 9 to 5. And also, luckily I was working at home, which was, a help. So, because I know how it is, it's kind of hard when you work out there in the field. You got to come home and then still work on yourself. It's not that easy. I understand that everybody's going through it, and it's nothing to be ashamed about either. So, my job like basically funded my business. I bootstrapped it, of course. So I had to work to be able to start this from the ground. But what made me do that first episode is I was in the kitchen and my wife would be looking at me like, dude, you already got everything together.
Like you
Like I
just might as
had
well do it.
right. She was like, what are you waiting on? I just didn't know. And then also something that's real touchy to me is being an African American. I didn't know how the world would take me representing Vegas business owners and being a black man. So I
Mm,
didn't know how that would take also. So one thing I give props to the city of Las Vegas is how much they embrace, diversity and also allow me to do that. Because when we started with just Google Maps, we were like the only ones going in casinos when the pandemic was going. Nobody was out there. My son and I was helping me do content, and the casinos was actually letting me do that when they didn't have to let me do that. So that got me really started. You can probably go way back and see I did old footage of old casinos. I'll try to go to every casino to make sure I could represent them, and that was just me practicing on how to create content. to lead up to right now.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your story. But again, it's always something deeper that's rooted in the success of a person's brand or even their evolution of a person, right? Because like no one would have ever known that you went through that based upon, like, of course, just looking at social media, you
Yeah,
know, and the
right,
fact that you focus your brand and your podcast and stuff around other people and uplifting them and their businesses. You don't make it about yourself. But you said something that clipped my brain juices, and I want to ask you about it. You
mhm.
said you were always so grateful that, Vegas embraced you as a Black man. Did you ever feel like anywhere in your journey, like you struggle with trying to determine if you only wanted to cater to like the African American community or if you wanted to be diverse?
Like I always wanted to be diverse because I was raised like that. My parents raised me like that.
Mm-hmm.
So no, and I have parents, that's been, my dad, is coming from Arkansas to LA back in the 50s, been through the Watts riots at Nicholson Gardens. My
Oh wow.
mom, my aunties, they marched with Martin Luther King and went to jail over this. So when you get to that, my community definitely is at hand. My door is open to my community. First off, it's my culture, my people, but at the same time is to represent our culture, to let us know that we can also be universal. So not
Mm-hmm.
only am I here to teach people about Las Vegas, not only are we here in Las Vegas, but it's just a melting pot. So in order for that to be, seen or even aware of, there has to be a platform for people to visualize that and see that. So I really feel that I'm that platform to be able to do that. Yeah, it's not going to be easy, granted. Yeah, there's an audience that thinks like, oh yeah, you should be doing that, or you're talent with this, with your people, so you should do that. But keep in mind also, man didn't make this for me. God made this. So God appointed me to be diverse with it.
I love that. I love that. And I know we talked about that before, like letting God direct your path, because sometimes, we fall off track, we may get accustomed with like all the different trends and things on social media, but like with you, like you always stay grounded in God and your faith, and you're not ashamed to talk about it in public.
No,
So
not at
I
all.
appreciate that. Yeah, because some people, I mean, I do understand like everyone's not open with talking about their spirituality and religion and things, but like you post quite a lot about it, and you acknowledge just God is the reason why all this is unfolding for you. And I feel like people like that, that's why it continues to unfold and people continue to elevate onto higher levels.
Right, right. You're right.
So, what keeps you motivated to do this? Because I've been podcasting, as you know, for 2 years.
Mhm.
And throughout my 2 year journey, like, I don't want to say I've lost motivation, but sometimes, you just fall, you teeter totter, you see things one way, things are going good, they fall off track. And then I always say, my downfall with this whole journey is my personal life. I've gone through a lot of things these last couple of years, and trying to stay afloat gets hard. I'll take a break in a heartbeat. So,
Right.
like, what keeps you motivated and just always like pushing? Because you really be doing your thing.
Like to be honest with you, it is like this is another topic that really not everybody's comfortable to talk about, but like we only have so much here on this earth, so much time here on this earth. So,
Mm,
I have a family. So what keeps me motivated is them. Like, what if something was happening today? I live each day and I do each day. Like, if I was thinking, like, if that was the last day, like, if this was it, did I accomplish every goal or set out everything that I could have, to set my family up for something greater than what I'm doing right now? Because
mm,
I do believe where I'm going with this, but also I believe there's something even greater when I'm not here that's left for my kids that I build for them to keep going. So I always think about that. Think about I wouldn't want them to be able to boost if they was to bootstrap their own business, it wouldn't affect them in a way to where they have to decide on should I get this equipment or pay this light bill. I don't want them to go through
mm.
that. So, or should I want them to decide on even education to where if I want to learn something, I can be able to go to school and afford it,
Yeah,
just because I want to learn that.
yeah.
So that keeps me motivated, my kids, my family.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. And unfortunately, some people when they're starting endeavors, like this is how I think of it. A lot of times when you're starting endeavors, whether it's podcasting or just, venturing out on a new business, God gave that vision to you. And everyone around you may not see things how you see it. And for a lot of people, me at a certain point in my journey, because other people didn't see things that how like God implanted it in me, I'm like, well, maybe it's not meant for me to do, you know? And it took a
Mhm.
lot of prayer and a lot of faith to be like, no, like he gave this to you. Because some people don't have the family support or just
Right,
support in general. And you gain it throughout like social media and just venturing out in the world, you know?
right. Because you got to understand too, if you have a relationship with God, a lot of times when He's building something in you and maturing you, when you have it, it's something to be developed. It doesn't happen overnight. But
Mhm.
also you got to keep in mind you don't do it, like with the crowd all the time. So sometimes we thinking that, oh, I'm becoming lonely, but when you're alone, you're not always lonely. He just needs you to be in that kind of position so he won't have any distractions. So a lot
Mhm.
of times, like you say, that'll shape or even like determine some of the decisions we make by those who are close to us, whether they're friends, whether they're family, co-workers, boyfriend, girlfriend. Sometimes he wants to take us away from that to work on what we need to work on. Not saying that's going forever, but it might be, who knows? But he needs to turn us into something else. And for
Mhm.
that to happen, he needs us away from the distraction because we don't know what's distracting us at that moment because we're still blind a little, we're still weak, we still have scale over our eyes. So
Mhm.
until we get away from that, but not only get away, but accept the fact that I need to get away from it and be able to, embrace what I'm going through, then you'll always have that as a challenge.
I like the fact that you said embrace what you're going through, right? Because we can be going through the most what seems like horrific circumstances, and that's nothing that you want to embrace. You only want to embrace like the joyful and happy times and
Right.
trying to embrace those chaotic times, especially the ones where you don't know why it's happening, you don't know what is meant to happen. I always say you don't know what's on the other side of the tunnel. It's like, why am I supposed to embrace this?
I
You know what I'm
understand.
saying?
Yeah. No,
It's
I
like
totally understand.
it's like I wake up every day and I'm going through hell and high water, and I'm supposed to sit here and be grateful for this circumstance. But what people don't realize in some cases is you're supposed to be grateful for where you're at in your journey because that's what's going to help get you further. It may sound crazy, embrace where you're at, embrace what you have.
Right. Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah. You're not telling me nothing. You're talking to a man who trying to tell his wife to embrace the fact I'm starting a podcast where we're about to get evicted. Yeah, are you crazy? Right. So,
I can imagine. I can imagine. But
right.
but something had to like no, like of course, like she knows you, she married you, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
something
Yeah.
had to have, she had to believe in
Right.
it, and she
Nah,
probably
she saw the vision. Took, well, like we got 20 years together, so like she saw the vision, she saw the beginning of it, the building of it, because like I always was with her, like, hey, look, I got this idea. She gets tired of that. She already know, like, I'm coming, like he got an idea. So like, or I already started the idea. Like when I come at you with an idea, it's not to get your reference because I've already started. 9 times out of 10, when I'm telling you I got an idea, I already got it in work. I'm just telling you. But you might take it as like I'm asking your opinion, but I already have started it, whether you give me an opinion or not.
so speaking of ideas, because I feel like you have to really get your creative juices going when you're doing like social media, when you are collaborating with people, just building a brand. Where do you draw your inspiration and how do you stay consistent with it? Because you are very consistent.
Yeah. So the inspiration comes from like I'm a born like this like art to me. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like when I create a video, it's like a art, like how a painter gets on the canvas.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think that's why I can do so many other things and I have to do other things because I used to do videos and put together music videos. So like I do all our family stuff, like no matter what it is, like I like to capture and tell a story to things.
Yes, you
So
do.
that's exactly why I always got to stay busy and I always got to keep doing things. I can't like sit still. I really can't. So I get inspired by, just staying motivated. Of course, when you're inspired and you motivated, you do it out of love, then the money already comes. So then you see money in different ways that God shows you to keep you doing to what you love. If you're
Mm-hmm.
grateful for it, and understand what you're getting. So,
Mm-hmm.
but the consistency of it, definitely the consistency of it didn't happen overnight either. That's from a content calendar and just sticking to, the calendar and going through it. So I had to build out a content calendar and really stick to it. Like even as I'm talking and you're like, yeah, you're consistent. Like I even have to fight myself through procrastination a lot of mornings, or a lot of days. Like I was just talking to somebody this morning, telling them like I got like 2 or 3 weeks of content like I'm behind on.
What?
Like not yet. Not even that. Not even that. There's probably deals and opportunities that I don't know that I can make money of that I don't even know because I haven't created content for it. That's how
Mm.
behind I am when it comes to certain things because it's not about the money to me. It's
Right.
not about doing that. It's about doing what I love. So if I'm gonna do what I love, then I don't want to be on no timeline.
Yeah.
Because if I was about the money, then I have to be timed by everybody. All this, I want to do it out of the love. So there's no timeline. I need to do what I do, and all of it is just brings it back forward to promoting my beautiful city of Las Vegas, who supports small business owners like no other. I lived in other states and I never seen a state in a city like the city of Las Vegas who supports small business owners and entrepreneurs like they do.
Mm-hmm. So two things. So one, I will definitely say that you have been the motivation behind me finally investing in a good planner and like really filling it out. Like I
Right,
brought me a plan. I told you months ago because I texted you like, "Hey, where you be getting your planners from?" Like,
right,
got my planners, I got my notebooks. So I definitely have been consistently going in and doing what I need to do, and I've been sticking to it. And like
okay,
I got like a little schedule on when I do stuff. So yes, thank you.
right.
You have motivated me to do that. And I do understand how you fall behind because life be life and things come up sometimes. But one thing I like about you is like you don't like it's not for the money. The money is like the extra piece. What I'm
Right,
pouring out, this is my passion. I enjoy to do it. So like that's all that matters. And something else you said is like Vegas really supports and pushes small businesses. Vegas is so busy. Like,
right,
I was there last year. It's just always something. And I've been twice, and I feel like I have not seen anything. I've seen stuff, but not as when I listen to your show and I see the different things you post. I'm like, where was all this when I was there? Like,
right,
but your channel is like your channel can be like a roadmap to like outlet your whole entire trip
right,
because
right,
you
right,
really connect with a lot of people.
right, right. That's my goal too. My goal is for my actual goal is what I vision is when you look at the channel, Visit Vegas Places, you look at the channel, you don't think about Coil. I'm just the mouthpiece. I'm the bridge. When you go to Visit Vegas Places channel or the podcast or the website, I want you to think of business owners and what you need to do when you travel. So yes, you can actually go to my page and knock out everything, but not only that, you can feel connected to them. That's why I go in depth and do what I do. So when you go to a place, you actually think you know the owner because I've already, have the session with you. I did the content. So now you have a full understanding and expectation of what you're about to get into.
Exactly, exactly. And looking at your page, you connect with a lot of owners and things like that. One could only assume that every time you reach out to a person, you get a million yeses because you connect with so many people. So every time you reach out to someone to like come on your show or just review their business, do you always get a yes or have you gotten some no's in the past too?
Yes, I've got a lot of those. Yeah. Like I've interviewed a total, like again, the total is I think what 117 interviews I had,
Sheesh.
117 business owners I interviewed. I can say I had about my 3 years in, I'd have had about like 15 to 20 no's, I can say in that range, 15
But
to
you kept
20
going.
no's. Kept going. Like they'll even tell me like it's been people that have been like, yeah, you know what, you're not a good fit. Like literally, like made me feel like trash or something, like
I
you're
say that
not a
hurt my
good fit.
heart.
But then at the end of the day, they're not in business right now. So they don't have nothing up, or anything. So at the same time, you don't know what people are going through. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not in a position to be knowing the details of their business. So they don't know how to just let me know or let me down lightly. But certain people know how to say certain things. Certain people don't know how to say certain things. So yeah, don't let a no get to you. Because there's been a lot of times also out of that 117, there has been at least 10 that did say no, but came back and they're part of that 117. So keep that in
Mm.
mind. Right.
So, okay, so you just said a whole word. So you got some no's because I mean, I think
Right.
I speak for most podcasters, we've all probably gotten a no or a few, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for some of us, it's like, well, damn, why not me? You know,
Right.
and that could be the end of someone's whole brand, their motivation, everything. But then on the flip side, you're saying they came back. They seen
Right.
something in me later. Maybe it was just bad timing.
Right.
The business wasn't doing good. They wasn't in a good space, but they
There you
came back
go. There you
because
go.
you kept going.
Right. Because it's not on you to determine, to decipher and investigate why they said no. You're gonna waste your
Mhm.
time. Like, okay, now I gotta open the case of why they said no. Why?
Become an internet FBI agent.
Right.
Like, let me figure out what's going on.
Nah, keep it posted. But I am blessed though, right now though, to like be booked. I don't like really have to reach out, like, cause I go. What I found effective is I started to go to my urban chamber of commerce and my chamber of commerce networking mixers. So with the Chamber of Commerce, both the regular Chamber of Commerce and the Urban Chamber of Commerce, it gives me an opportunity to know at hand which businesses really need help and that are officially actually businesses.
Mm. So you do your research.
Yes.
Do you ever, and I know you like, I know your show is like focused around Vegas and your passion and your love is and your heart is in Vegas. Do you ever see yourself like potentially like maybe going like to other places?
Yeah, actually, there's a segment I do which is Vegas Ventures Off. And
Mm-hmm.
with Vegas Ventures Off, I've been to 9 different countries, interviewed business owners in 9 different countries, and I
Mm.
think we covered 13 states. So we covered 13 states here in the U.S. and 9 different countries, and that's what Vegas Ventures Off.
Man,
So,
see why
like,
I
if
call
I
it
had
Nikki.
you on the show, where you where you at again? Where you located?
Right now I'm in Baltimore.
So I'm gonna have you on the show, and you're gonna be part of Vegas Ventures Off. I'm gonna be venturing off to Baltimore, and
What?
that's how I do it.
Okay.
That's how I could be
Okay.
universal. You know what I mean? I gotta
Got
be
you.
creative so
I
I can
got
go, I
you.
can do that.
See, you
So
sitting
I
here
like that challenge.
brainstorming. Like I see how you work. Like you bring up one thing, you are at Z with your
Right.
ideas. So I see that you turn everything into an opportunity.
Correct. Correct.
And I think that's important because, like you said, unfortunately, like we never know when it's going to be our last day. So we want to make sure that we fully invest in each day, each opportunity. And unfortunately, some people don't. You know, we'll get there, but
Right.
for the most part, you're really walking your path, and you're destined that God has set for you, and that's good.
Yes.
And you're
For sure.
helping people.
Right. That's the main thing though. My thing is I have a little saying though, and it's a prayer too. I always ask God. I always pray, Lord, may my blessings be a blessings to others who need a blessing.
Mm,
That's all I need to do, you know. So all I need to do is long as my blessings can be a blessings to other people who need it, then I'm
mhm.
good. I'm gonna always be in business. Long as there's people who need blessings and I keep receiving blessings, I'm always in business.
I like that. I
Right.
like that. And yeah, you will always be blessed.
Right.
And again, I know I said this earlier, but and we talked about this before. It's your brand, you're the face and voice of it, but it's not about you.
No.
And I want to talk a little bit about collaboration versus competition because of course in the podcasting and social media in general it's a lot of competitiveness and I do understand it, right? I do. But do you think it's more beneficial for people to just have a collaborative mindset and really work to like help each other opposed to like looking at everybody as your opponent, even though we're all in the same little room?
Yeah. So that's a real good question too. So it's podcasting is no difference from like the music industry or the movie industry. So imagine if the movie industry didn't want to deal with each other. There wouldn't be no good movies with a lot of good actors in it.
Mm-hmm.
So with podcasting, you have to be able to collaborate. it's only right to. And
Mhm.
also that collaboration helps us to expand the audience, to spread the word of podcasting. Because at the end of the day, we're one union of podcasting. Just like when the musicians get together and when they all go to the MTV Awards or whatever, the Grammys, they're all there gathered as musicians, even though there might be country singers, rappers, and R&B singers. They're all there as artists. So when
Mhm.
we're podcasting, we're all coming as one as podcasters. And I think there's like our group does that. The Good Pods group, podcast movement, they do a good job. The Riverside has groups that do a good job. But we all should have a collaborative mind state because at the end of the day, my niche might be different than yours, but the basics of the podcast and the back end is all the same. You get
Mhm.
what I mean? So no matter what, we go through the same thing, even though our talks are different, we actually go through the same thing.
We're human.
Right.
Like we're human. Like that makes so much sense because like I have listened to like your show and I've listened to your solo episodes and I'm like, well, damn, I didn't know like this about him. Or I've
Right.
heard you on other people's shows and I'm like, okay. But it also shows like how we can just always judge people based upon what we see and
Right.
not really give people a chance to really get to know them, you
Right.
know?
Right. Right.
And
Right.
unfortunately, like I hate to feel like I'm in a competitive environment, even though I've played sports, like I played basketball up till college. Like that's the only place you can catch me actually competing, and I'm probably going to be your worst friend, you know. But in this industry, it's it can be so toxic and tiring.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But that's where you gotta stay really like really focused. And then that where it goes back to what we was talking earlier, when he secludes you and you're not alone. You're not lonely, you're just alone. When you're
Yeah.
alone, it's not lonely. He's working on you. So of course this is competition because there's competition in everything.
Hmm.
So I know there's competition. There's people that's competing probably against me that I don't have a clue of. Because I don't have that competitive like spirit.
Yeah.
My competition comes in different forms. You get what I mean? Like, like while they competing on me probably on follows, I'm competing on him in something like, damn, how did he do those transitions? I'm like different, you know.
I that
So,
makes sense though. Like you looking
so
to better your content. Meanwhile,
right,
you trying
right,
to get ahead
right.
of me in
Yeah,
numbers. I
yeah.
got
There
you.
you go. So it's like you gotta have a compete. Your competitive has to be different. Like, you're competing on certain things, and I'm competing on like, damn, how many books he reads a day? Like, how can he read? Like, damn. So the world is competitive. That's a must. But what do you feel in your competition with is what's important.
I like that. And I mean, I sometimes I be in my own little I literally be in my own little world. You know what I'm saying? Like I do what I do and I try to support as many people as I can. You know what I'm saying? Because I love community. I believe in the empowerment of community, helping each other, just supporting one another. And you never know when just a random message or like reaching out to somebody is going to like really help them. And people have reached out to me during my worst moments and I'm like, oh my god, I really needed that. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? Or just being a ear or a beacon of support when someone don't know how to do a new platform, because we got all these little updates and stuff on social media, so sometimes it get difficult.
right, right, right.
But I definitely love just the whole aspect of collaborating and going into other people's worlds, going into other people's lives, getting people, like I like to say, getting people business. I let y'all in my business. I get in y'all business a little bit.
Right, right, right.
So it's definitely something. And like within this whole environment of just podcasting, building a brand and everything,
Mhm.
I always talk about mental health. I always talk about like keeping your wellness and stuff together because it's so easy to get burnt out. And I know like you've posted messages on social media and things, and we talked about burnout. Like, how are you able to keep your work life balance and like do the social media and everything that you be doing? Because you be doing a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it is hard. Now, this is something too I was just talking about the other day. Prevent burnout. It's funny you saying that. Like I journal a lot. Like every morning I journal, but like I really got to stick myself to like a timer. like, but I found out that it works. Like, all right, so what we naturally don't know, usually people who are on podcasters or deal with social media a lot, like we would sit there at our office, we'll work, check emails while we're scrolling through social media.
Mhm.
Scrolling through social media, taking care of regular life things, trying to like do other things, getting a notification here and there, and then
Mhm.
getting caught in the background, then getting up, getting something else. So so by the time you finish scrolling, you forgot what you were scrolling for. Like there's been literally times that I'll be like, you know what? Like I'm creating content, right? On the screen, and I'm like, damn, what's the handle of this person that I'm creating content for, like the business owner? So I
Mhm.
literally had to go to Instagram to find out the handle, right? So I'll go to Instagram and end up scrolling for 10 minutes, gotta check myself. Like, dude, I
Mm.
can't even what did I come here for?
I
Like,
know. The same thing
so,
happens to me.
right.
I be doing a million and
So,
one things. I'm supposed to be doing one.
so what I found out was effective is like 3 hour blocks. So I do the 3-3-3. So say for
Mhm.
instance on my day, I make sure and make sure. Now I'm gonna tell you when you do the 3 hour block. So say for instance I'm gonna do a 3 hour block. So I'm gonna do one that's like social media 3 hour block. So that means 1.5 hours I'm gonna spend on Instagram, another half an hour I'm gonna spend on Twitter. So it allows me to really like tune in to just that.
Mhm.
Now, when I consistently do that, I won't feel like I'm missing out because I know that it has its own significant time. You get what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's not
Yeah.
its time because I know that I'm going to be dedicated to when it is its time. And I won't
Mhm.
feel some type of way in between functions, and all that. So not only do I set those 3 hour blocks, but I work in 25 increments, 25-minute increments. So
Mhm.
25 minutes, quick little break, 5 minutes, back to it. Usually sometimes it's 45-minute increments, then take a
Mhm.
break and then back to it. But I have it written down. I go by the content calendar. But each day you got to stick to your script and you got to really like discipline yourself through your time actions. You got to really manage your time wisely. Not only that, once you start managing your time wisely, it'll let you know where your priorities should be and where you should spend more time at. Because a lot of
Mhm.
people think that we're really doing things, but we're not. Like we'll spend a lot of time. Like, yeah, I just created a video, man. It took about an hour, but you took 4 hours just to think about it. You know what I mean? You forgot. so
Yeah.
so people don't really be thinking about that. And then also too, what I thought too is I like capture the moment at every moment. So like, say for instance, at certain times that like I always I don't know if this is healthy or not, but like say for instance, like I try to like multitask. So like there's this like book I'm reading, like it helps, with social media and also running business. So like say for instance, there's a time when I go pick up my son, but I'm waiting in the car for like 15 minutes. So I'm
Mhm.
thinking like I was thinking like how can I squeeze in 25 to 30 minutes of reading, you know?
Mhm.
So then I had to really balance like what am I doing in my days? And then I was thinking like what am I doing when I'm sitting in the car waiting for my son? I'm like really nothing. I'm scrolling, So why
Mhm.
would I scroll? Let me compare scrolling over putting the book in the car instead of in my office. Let's put it in the car. So now when I'm waiting for
Mhm.
Cody, then that 10 minutes adds up each day. And I could be to read through the book while I'm sitting here trying to decide time in the office. So you got to
I
kind of
was
think,
I was gonna say, please don't tell me you reading and driving.
oh no, 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 no.
But
No.
that's a good idea. I like
Right.
I like how you think. That's a good idea. Like you literally take use of all of your time.
Correct.
But because I gotta interject. Hopefully you are still finding the point to just be with yourself, besides the morning journaling and stuff, time to just be away from social media a little bit and disconnect from your phone and just really be with yourself, so you can clear your mind out a little bit. So hopefully you have that balance too, where you're able to try to like navigate some time for yourself.
I'm working on it. Like I'm really I'm working on it. My wife does a good job at making sure like that we gotta have a date night, make sure we have time. And then the kids making sure like my daughter with volleyball, and the boys and all that. So yeah, making sure, but then also myself though, like you said, I always like,
Self-care.
yeah, like myself. So yeah, I'm working on getting to myself. You know what I mean? Like, that I think about it, there is more things I can do, but like I just gotta take action at it. But there is more things I need to relax and really like just let go of it and just really relax and let go when it's time to let go.
Yeah, like I had to check myself a couple times too. I think I gotten a lot better. Like I have my designated, not necessarily designated social media times, but like I do have my designated posting times and different things like that with social media. I'm on social media probably every day, but not as much as you would think, you know, just because I don't want to get too consumed in it,
Right.
but I do
Right.
respond to like comments and messages and things like that. Outside of like that, um, I just try to really be focused within myself because if I'm not together, then I'm not going to be a good presence online. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And when I first started podcasting, that is literally everything I focused on. Like I didn't want to focus on nothing else. Like all my extracurricular activities went out the door because I was so fixated on posting episodes and titles and everything. And I was like, wait a second. Like my therapist was like, wait a minute. You have to like you can't record every day. I'm like, but I got to. But then I ended up going back to work inside the office in August. And once that happened,
Right.
total
Yeah.
different change. I was like, oh no, I'm not going to be able to like
Right.
do as much as I was because I'm not here most of the time. When I'm home,
Yeah.
when I was working from home, I could maneuver. Wasn't the best all the time, but I could. And now that I'm away from home most of the day, 5 days a week,
Mhm.
I think I have a strict routine.
Hey, that's like what I found helpful too sometimes like if anyone's listening and if you watch me, like don't let me influence you to like go overtime and all that because like it looks like that but I don't. Like I utilize tools like scheduling tools too that the apps provide, so take advantage of scheduling tools. But not only that, what I could tell you the trick is, to be honest with you, and I'm still really trying to like really learn and really like discipline myself and do it more, it's certain things that I post on certain days, I do it the day before. So when I
Mm,
do it the day before, it makes it different. It's a different energy when I post. So like I can line up my whole day for tomorrow, which I'm doing right now, for today. So like when
mhm.
I come at it, it's a different set of eyes. And it's different for me trying to hurry up and create and rush. Like, damn, I gotta hurry up for the day ends or this certain time. Because I know that
Mm,
feeling. And then by the
yeah.
time you post, you done forgot a hashtag or you captioned it wrong than how you were supposed to do it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Or
I
you didn't tag
definitely.
a person you were supposed to tag in
Oh
it.
God. Yeah, I
So
definitely schedule and draft a lot. Like
got
so
you.
those tools are so beneficial. Like when I first started all of this stuff, one of my friends, she's an entrepreneur, and she was like, "Let me introduce you to Canva and like all these different things." I'm like, "Who?" So she like really walked me through navigating like social media and like Canva. And now I'm to the point where like I know how to do it myself. Although like things change, like there's so many different
Right.
updates and things all the
Right.
time. But luckily you can just go on like YouTube University or TikTok University
There you go.
nowadays and like find out or just get help from an acquaintance, which definitely is beneficial as well. So yeah, scheduling things helps, drafting things, because it takes away from you if you like say to yourself like, oh, I want to make sure I post at this time. Well, if something comes up, it's already drafted and scheduled, and it'll still go out even if you do get pulled away.
Correct.
So it helps, and plus, like you said, you do a lot because you got your podcast, you go live on TikTok, and you
Right.
have another podcast coming out. So tell us about
Correct.
that. Yeah.
So that's
Mhm.
let's break it down. So let's break it down. Let's break it down. Actually, that airs on next Tuesday. So next
Hey,
Tuesday, there's a podcast and two podcast shows. One live talk, of course. We're kicking it with your girls. They're out of Detroit. And
shout out to Nikki and
yeah,
Angel.
Nikki and Angel. Shouts out to Nikki Angel, and of course me. So what we do is we talk about current events, social media, and sports, and we rotate those topics. And then not only do we talk about those topics, we break it down and give our spin on it and have a discussion. So yeah, let's break it down.
Yes, well, I'm definitely gonna look out for that. Make sure you send me the links
Appreciate
and
it.
stuff
Yeah,
so I
it's
can make sure I
video
put
too.
everything together. Oh,
Yeah,
y'all
and
gonna
it's
be on video?
video
Cause
too. Yeah.
are y'all still gonna be doing the lives, or is you just gonna
Now
transition from the
we gonna
lives
figure the
to?
live. Yeah, we're gonna figure that out. But we transition over that because now it's video, so now you can see us. So we have a
Okay,
video.
okay,
Yeah.
all right. So by the time this come out, we'll have all the links and stuff together because I can't wait for that. Because I used to try to catch y'all lives when I could or watch the replays because time difference,
Right, right. So
that's
you
another
like the
thing.
lives? You think we should keep going live? You like that,
I
huh?
mean, they were dope. However,
Appreciate
whatever
it.
works best for you, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
That's
Like whatever
right.
works best for you. Because I know all of you guys were in different time zones as well.
Yeah, they 3 hours apart. Like it be 6 p.m. here and it's pitch black there. And I'm like, the sun is still up out here. And they like, dog,
Exactly.
we about to go to bed right after our session.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. So
So
them my
no,
girls, three
I
hours.
so no, but like now you can like there's so much with like social media and technology because now StreamYard has it where you can stream on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. So y'all got
Right,
some
right, right.
options. Either
Yeah. And
way,
then,
I'm gonna
but
support it.
the most magnitude about, let's break it down, and the connection I have with the girls is we've never met personally. So
Mm-hmm.
keep in mind, we never met personally. So I do encourage that there goes the collaboration. So when you was asking me earlier about the mindset of being competitive or in collaboration, thanks to God that we were all three on the mind state of collaboration. Of course, I reached out to them. We came together. We had Zoom meetings, Google meetings. That was our meetings, and
Mm-hmm.
we started from that. But we never met personally in real life. So that's the beautiful thing about it is like I'm already visioning content ahead for the day we actually meet. You get what I mean? Like we didn't already
Yes.
build all this and we never met yet.
I know. I feel like that's a bonus. And I always say
Right,
like meeting and connecting with people during this is bonus. And shout out to Nikki and Angel again, because I have been on their show a few times. They've been on, Chronicles of a Virgo. Like I love them. They got podcasted for the culture,
right,
bring in podcasters,
right.
Black podcasters together,
Together. Correct.
and a lot of people I know have collaborated outside of their group, which was one of the purposes.
Right.
So building these relationships and connections, I think it's definitely helpful, but it's like, I don't know, it's like we're family. I don't know you,
Right.
but we're cool,
Right. Like we're like it's like we a group. Like us, you got Ken, you got the thing about us, like it's just like we're all, how can I say that? We're all like an alumni,
family.
and we're an alumni for this like first wave, podcasting. So like
Mm-hmm.
we're the class of this, podcasting where we're the ways that we all know. Like it's just like we all, once we have that community, we all know who's who. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just
Mm-hmm.
because not only that the podcasting for the culture, but I think you're even part of some of the good pods groups that I with that even that's more diverse, but it's like a community also with them. So that's
Yeah.
where it goes. So like, damn, we're all podcasters at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the community, I love the community. Is full of like witty people, wise, creative people, and I don't think there's any room for competition in that. Let's leave that to the other industries. I don't think there should be any competition because there's so much to talk about. It is. There's so
Mm-hmm.
much to talk about in different forms of fashions and so many views. And then anybody can podcast the way you podcast. There's no right way. There's no right or wrong way to podcast. I always say this. There's no right way of the podcast, but there is a right and wrong way to monetize your podcasting.
And I think for a lot of people, that's the main goal is getting them coins.
Right.
Um, I'm like that. This may sound so weird to you. It may not to other people. They may be like, what? The money is second nature to me, because I didn't get into it for money. Like I did not at all.
No.
So the money that comes that came and comes, it's just like I'm grateful for it. It is what it is. The connections I build, having a platform to give people a voice and continue to use my voice for a greater cause and a good purpose. That is what the whole purpose is. So again, like the money, it is. I got a job too.
Right.
So like, it's second nature to me because I feel like I didn't start out seeking money.
No.
And
Right.
I
Right.
mean, and don't get me wrong, it's no offense to anybody that's what they want. Hey, it is what it is.
Correct.
But but like you said, like when you truly love what you do, all of those other things they come second to best. you
Yeah,
know?
it does. It does. It's just a different vibe. Like that's when I go and meet these business owners, they don't even know. Like what you were saying, they don't know. Like before I go see them, they only know what they see on content or what I put together. But when I go there and they actually meet me and we start talking, it's like a whole different like, damn, like I know. Like this is what I do, like they just don't
Yeah.
know. Like, they understand like I understand now. It's almost like you're almost crazy. Like I am crazy for this.
You ain't crazy. You just passionate. You just
Right,
passionate.
like yeah,
You
I
know what I'm saying?
am.
And
Yeah,
again, sometimes like that passion comes off strong, but those that get it, get it. Those that don't, it is what it
that's
is,
it. It is what it is. I gotta still do what I do.
Yeah. So what is something that you can say to somebody that's listening that is like on this whole journey of whether it's podcasting, building a brand, and they are just feeling like they're stuck? What is something that you can say to them that's going to get them going?
Now, if you do feel like you're stuck, which is a good question, don't feel like you're not worth it or you're not talented or you're not cut out for it. Everybody gets stuck. I get stuck. The main thing is you need to write down why do you think you're stuck and how do you think you're stuck. You got to write it down so you can vision it. When you write it down, break it down. Is there any ways that you can start, nicking at why you think that you're stuck? And let's help this. Now, what really bothers us sometimes is, like I say, we all get stuck. What makes us different from other people who get out that stuckness is they're aware and they write it down and they know the root cause. So this is why I'm stuck and I need to work on this. So a lot of people get mad because what we're doing, so say for instance, what we're doing, we're podcasting, right? Boom, boom, boom. But then say for instance, something messes with your hours or the light bill went up or something happens to where you got to pay for this now, the car went out, so now the rent, so now you got to put in more hours and take away from your podcast. You might have to suck that up for a time being, because then that's where
Yeah.
you're going to feel stuck at. Because now you're going to try to duke it out and something's altered to what the schedule you used to. So it's okay to let
Mhm.
it go, to focus on that, knowing you have this to come back to. So there's a lot of times I gotta let stuff go. To like, nah, I gotta let that go because I gotta work on this. Or even if it might be within the family. Like, nah, I can't do that. Let me work on this because then it's going to affect this here and I'm going to feel stuck.
Mhm.
And then when I feel
Yeah.
stuck, I'm blaming everybody else when it's not really their fault. It's my fault and it's all a mental thing. Because when you write it
Mhm.
down, 9 times out of 10, when you write it down, you're going to figure it's a mental thing. And why I say write it down, because it's different from having it in your head and getting it out on paper so you can see it.
Mhm.
You can see if it's really effective. You can see sometimes how ridiculous it is. You can see how smart it is. You would never know how it looks like until you write it down on paper. And people don't
Yeah.
really take that serious, but that really helps, which is a form of journaling. But I'm not saying journal write paragraphs. I'm telling you to just simply sit down and be like, you know what, these are some things that are bothering me that making me feel like I'm stuck. Write it down and then just work on one at a time. That's it. You can work on one at a time so you won't feel stuck. Because then when you actually, that stuckness is just a thought. That's it. It's not
Mhm.
you in reality. It's really just a thought. And then
Yep.
because you still have the power, you have the strength, you have the courage, you have the skills and the talent to do everything you're doing. The stuck part is just the mind state and the devil trying to stop you from accomplishing what you're already doing. That's all it is. It want to slow you down.
Mhm. I like that. I like that. It's definitely a mindset thing, and I always like to say like the person that you see in the mirror is the only person that you're so called competing against, you know. That's why like it's nothing for me to take a break. Y'all know I will be back a couple weeks, couple months, because if I know I need it or something is going on in my life, I am not going to be of good service to anyone else. So let me get myself together, regroup, and I come back and I'll be better. And it's like I feel like sometimes people they stop, they don't want to take breaks or things because they feel like they're going to miss out or they feel like someone is going to get ahead of them. And I'm like, man, you're doing yourself a disservice because you may be pushing
Right?
yourself to the limits, and that's not even necessary. You
No.
know, it's not like you said. It's going to be there. Just write it down, make a plan, and then activate that plan. However that comes together or looks for you, just know that things are always going to work out how it's supposed to.
That's it. And always don't be afraid to like talk it out and ask for help. Because a lot of times, even me, I can get discouraged sometimes or thinking that I'm stuck. And it takes me to talk to somebody close, even my wife that I trust with that information, not out of curiosity, but someone I really trust genuinely. And
Mhm.
they'll always wake me up like, dude, you tripping. You already like, damn, I have to think like, yeah, you're right. I am tripping. So like, and that's why I say it's really a thought process. Not to down the fact that we think that we get stuck, that's natural. That is natural.
Mhm.
But also don't keep in mind though, don't get stuck. That stuck feeling mixed with being uncomfortable because you need to be uncomfortable.
Mhm.
That lets you know you're doing the right thing. So a lot of people get uncomfortable and they punk out and they cop out and they think they come up with the stuff. That's where you start playing a victim when you know you're not a victim. Like, come on now, you know you're not a victim. You're lazy. Let's get out of this rut. So let's keep in mind and be honest with ourselves is the first thing. You got to be honest with yourself.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that because I'm an advocate for sometimes it's depending on what the circumstances is, it's okay to sit in it for a little bit, but
Right.
within sitting in it, you have to figure out what's next because you got to get up and keep going. And I know that can sound so cliche to a lot of people, like, oh, everyone says keep going because you have to.
No, you
Like
do.
you have to, you can't, like you said, stay in that victim mindset because if you allow yourself to stay there, them thoughts are just going to get overbearing and worse.
Oh yeah, they get real worse. Especially the ones that makes you think that you good. Like, oh yeah, you good. Go on, yeah, put that you good.
Yes,
I got you
yes,
tomorrow. You gonna be
yes.
super amped tomorrow. You gonna be
Hmm.
juiced tomorrow. Just wait till tomorrow.
Yes, I love it. I love it. And like you said, don't be afraid to ask for help because I think sometimes people, they are. And stepping into that the unknown or like that uncomfortable moment, what do you if you don't do it, what else are you going to do? Stay stagnant where you are? Like, no, go
Correct.
ahead and take that
Correct.
leap of faith.
Knock that
It
out.
wouldn't have been presented to you if it wasn't for you. Oh, I
That's
like
why I said be honest with yourself, because you might just be lazy. You might just really let yourself know that you're just a lazy person.
we all can have those tendencies.
Oh
It
yeah.
is what
Oh
it is.
yeah. Hey, it takes one to know one. Believe me, I go through my phases. I do, and I
I mean,
fight my
hey,
battles.
we deserve some downtime. I like to look at it as I had to do this whole mental reshaping a couple months ago of what was it? Being productive versus busy.
Oh yeah, I like his podcast.
Who podcast?
There's a podcast called say that again.
Being productive. Hold on. Productive versus being busy.
Oh, not so his podcast is not busy, be productive but not busy podcast. It's Wayne Weathersby.
Oh
That's his
wow.
name. Look
Okay.
him up. He on Good Pods, and that's all he does is like these little nuggets, and they're real impactful. And he talks about podcasting a lot.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to check him out, but I
Mhm.
didn't know that because I had to distinguish the two and define what they mean for me because I
Right,
realized a lot of what we think, oh, if I don't accomplish everything on my list, then I wasn't doing anything. But like, no, you are being productive. You've done some things. Like, give yourself the credit for what you have done and what you did not complete on that list, put it to the side for the next day.
right,
And
right,
I think
right, right.
a lot of that is rooted in trauma. But needless to say, there's always a better and more proactive way to look at things to help benefit us where we are.
Correct, correct. Yeah,
So
I like that, and they always say don't confuse movement with action. Because
mm,
that's what we go to all saying, like you just spinning your wheels.
hmm,
So you don't want to have your wheels spinning, you know,
yeah.
wheels going around and you standing in one spot, burning rubber.
Yeah, just looking crazy. I
Right.
get it. I get it. But I enjoyed this conversation so much. It's been very insightful, as
Oh yeah.
always. So before we get out of here, can you please tell everyone where they can find social media, podcasts, all of those endeavors you have going on?
Most definitely. Thank you. Thank you for bringing me. Thank you for what you're doing also. I remember you back in the days when you had the old logo and listening to you. I remember back in the day. So you still doing it. I'm glad you're still here. But I already knew, but when I heard you, you was always going to be here. I already
Oh,
knew
thank
that.
you.
Yeah. So Yeah, but you guys can reach me, Visit Vegas Places. You guys check it out on all social media platforms. You can look it up, Visit Vegas Places. You can even Google us, Visit Vegas Places. Go to the website, visitvegasplaces.com, and you can check out all the podcasts and also some of the affiliate links where you can shop. I love to shop. You'll find that out by following me. I'm always shopping. If I'm not podcasting, I'm shopping, I swear. Yeah,
That
so
that shop is addictive.
tell me about it. Tell me about it. But
What did
yeah.
I tell you the other day? I said, don't post nothing else. Like I done favored so many things from your page alone. I'm like,
Oh man.
TikTok is gonna remove these things off my
Look, I got so
my
much
favorite
good
list.
stuff. Like I ain't even post
You
yet. Like I
do.
swear, like I'm looking right now, like, dude, I can't wait to show people this stuff. Like I got
You do
so
have
many.
some good stuff on your page though.
Like, man, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. But yeah, you guys follow me, check me out. Also check out the shops on TikTok, Visit Vegas Places. But check it out, you guys, and I appreciate the love.
Yes, yes. So y'all go tap in with Coil. All of his links will be listed below in the description. So y'all can go check out his podcast. If you are going to Vegas, you can use
Yes.
his page as a roadmap on places to go, eat, activities, literally every freaking thing. And a lot of his the people that you have on, they have websites. So you can scope out the
Correct.
scene even before you
Correct.
go. You can order
Correct.
things. Don't ask me
Correct.
how I know, just know that I know.
Good looking. Yeah.
Okay.
Appreciate
Yes,
that.
but
Right,
please go
right.
tap
Right.
in with everything that he is doing. Again, all of his links will be below as well as mine. Follow me on social media at Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. I think that's all of them. Chronicles of a Virgo podcast. Or if you would like to be on the show or connect, please email me at chroniclesofavirgo22@gmail.com. And again, thank you so much, Coyle, for coming through. AKA, like now y'all know why I call him the Keith Lee of podcasting. Because he does it all. But thank you so much for joining us. And you
Thank
guys,
you. Thank
yes,
you.
take care of yourselves and each other, y'all. Peace
Bye
out.
bye.